Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. Man, I hope my team they won. I hope my team they won. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, too tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. Both Mike and Charles on assignment again. Welcome to episode 845 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast. The show that's covering the sporting HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small, from the NEIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. In short, we just call it the HBCU sports pedagogy. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, along with my co-host, Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. Today, we have none other than AD Drew and Wilton Jackson II to make sure we get you all your HBCU news for the day. We're filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to KCOH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer, multi-Hall of Famer, I should say, Ralph Cooper, in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. With that being said, let's get these gentlemen on the board, get out some news. We're going to do a modified first segment. We're going to see if we can get an interview in here before we take a deep dive into the last three teams ranked in the Eastern Division and get these gentlemen's thoughts on that. With that being said, I'm going to go to you, straight to you, Wilton Jackson II. We're going to let you be the first star up and tell us what's on your mind this week in terms of HBCU sports news.
Well, as far as HBCU news, FAMU has made a decision on their quarterback in Isaiah Knowles. So if you heard of him, he obviously came with Quinn from Albany State in the previous year. So redshirt senior Isaiah Knowles has been named the Rattlers starting quarterback under first-year head coach Quinn Gray Sr., giving FAMU a proven winner and an experienced leader under center. In 2025 at Albany State, Knowles quarterback Albany State to the 36th best scoring offense in Division II, as the Golden Rams won the SIAC title and helped Albany State to the NCAA Division II semifinals and a school best 12-2 record. We've done some good things together, and hopefully we can continue to do that, Gray said. Doc, when you start talking about prolific quarterbacks at the D2 level, I can't tell you how many times we talked about him last year, specifically throughout the regular season and on through the postseason, and Albany State was making their run. I firmly expect him to have a solid year for FAMU, and he's going to have a solid year for FAMU if they want to go far and kind of resurrect where that football program is.
Great analysis, and I agree with you. I second that he was great in terms of what he did last year, and he has an opportunity to have a momentous season. And to your point, they probably would have maybe went a little deeper in the playoffs if it wasn't for a little untimely injury. But that being said, good. I see y'all shaking my head, so I don't feel like I'm out there on a limb saying that.
No. The quarterback gonna start the championship, the regional championship game. I mean, you can only lose the way that you lost that particular game. I mean, to lose that game by 6 points. Yeah, I think he was worth more than 6 points last year.
Absolutely.
Great point. I'm wholeheartedly on the same page. With that, AD Drew, go ahead and continue. What's on your mind?
Oh, there's a lot to go, and I know we got an abbreviated segment, and I don't know which one of these I want to get into. So I'm gonna get into the shorter one of the two right now, and then I'll say the longer one for if we have time later. But the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference told y'all 4 years ago about this flag football thing.
It's a good one.
Everybody laughed at me, Doc. Y'all gonna appreciate my genius one day. But
other folks are gonna appreciate it. We acknowledge.
Yeah. But the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference announced 2 associate members of their conference for women's flag football. One is a non-HBCU, and one is from the SWAC. Now, here's the thing. When I saw this headline, the team that I see on this screen was not the team that I expected to join the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference as an associate member for flag football. That being Alabama State, who was the first SWAC team to declare for flag football in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. But then the forgotten team in Mississippi, i.e. Mississippi Valley State, the Delta Devils, would join them as associate members for the 2026-27 season, giving the MEAC 6 programs for their inaugural seasons. The members from the MEAC who will be playing this year are Delaware State, Maryland Eastern Shore, Norfolk State, and North Carolina Central, which, as we know, are full members of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. And you can go on and read more about this on HBCU Game Day. And after you read it on HBCU Game Day, y'all can at me, BCS and Drew, and say, damn, you was right, dog. That's all I'm going to say, man.
I love it. That's a good one. I agree with you. If I was thinking of one, when I saw SWAC, I was like, ooh, what happened to Alabama State?
Yeah.
I'm sure they got an invite. It'd be interesting they decided to join.
Valley had declared that they were going to play until I saw this article. Yeah. So, and now I do need to make a reach out to Jason to see where they're going to be playing their ball at, or if they're just going to kind of be independent this year, which is fine also for this first year.
I'm already on it. AD, I'm texting him now, trying to get an update live on the show to see if he tell me something.
Yeah, maybe I know a couple people who might put together HBCU flag football championship series in Atlanta. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a break.
We may be looking at them. Before we go to this break, I did want to give some good news with SIAC announces contract extension for Commissioner Anthony Holloman through 2029. So looks like all our commissioners of the HBCU NCAA programs, HBCU for us, presidents and chancellors of their respective leagues, thought they were doing the work necessary to move the conference forward. And in this case, Dr. Holloman was rewarded for it with a contract extension to 2029.
We changing that S to $sign now for these conference commissioners.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. With that being said, let's take our first quick break, modified break, if you would. We'll come back on the other side and see if we can get us guests on board to give us some updates in terms of some historic news that was presented about a week ago. With that being said, we'll be right back after this quick break.
Football fans, HBCU football is back in the ATL on August 29th with the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff presented by Toyota, representing the SWAC, Alabama A&M, and representing the MEAC, Howard, Bulldogs, Bison, the Marching Maroon and White, the Showtime Marching Band, the premier FCS matchup in primetime with a kickoff trophy up for grabs. Join us pre-game for band jamborees, food, activations, and fellowship. For tickets and information, visit MEACSWACChallenge.com.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
We have none other than VP of Athletics, AD Dr. Paul Bryant at Alabama A&M University. And I'm going to treat him right. My wife is the alumni of the show. Not only that, he treats me right every time I come there to make sure I can get out the appropriate news. And the hospitality is really done right, as they say on the hill over there. So, one, I want to give you credit, but particularly to your team to put together. They make sure that they acknowledge folks. And that's not just from somebody of my position. It's really anybody that comes down there to have a good time. I've seen it. Those dog houses, I tell you, every time I see it, boy, I'm like, oh, I need some of that. I need some of that. That is cool.
I know.
Then all of a sudden I find out, I get the news release, and I'm a little upset. Usually I get a little tap on the shoulder. He said, I got something for you. I got something. Trying to climb up that AD ladder. You first in a lot of areas, and now you decide to be one of the first in terms of FCS. McNeese State, they did an all corporate deal in patches, which people recognize them as first one at the FCS level. Then you have Alabama A&M. First one in terms of HBCU. Obviously, one of the first ones in terms of FCS, as you see, according to this, maybe the second one, which is pretty significant, with a patch deal.
Yes.
Omni2Max Incorporated. You told me a little bit off the record as a parent preferred how you got it done. But before we get into that, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you guys? I'm excited to see you all.
Man,
Always, Paul. Always a pleasure to be in your presence, Paul. Because some of us are not worthy like me.
Oh, cut it out.
Wilton, you want to acknowledge anything now? You want to say anything before we jump into it? Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
With that being said, let's start it out right here. We will do our breakdown on the schedules today. I like what you do, schedule. By the way, we will do those predicted order since 4, 5, and 6. So I wanted to line that as we were talking about the Bulldogs. Obviously, you saw coming in the break, you got the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge presented by Toyota.
Yes.
I know you're excited. What are you hearing about the excitement for your fans? You got Tennessee State coming into the stadium. I'm talking about this is non-conference. This is before they even get in the conference.
Right. So we wanted to do something special this year and just have an exciting type of schedule. Starting with the MEAC SWAC. I was talking to John Grant yesterday, and we were talking about just the excitement around that game. He said this is the first time that they've had it that all the suites were sold. And he said that's a first for the MEAC SWAC. So, of course, we like to harp on that being the first. My fans are coming, Howard fans are coming, and then we know the teams are going to play, and we're going to leave it up to them to do what they got to do on the field. But and I've said this at the press conference, I'm not a guy to get into the who's going to win or who's not and the banter back and forth. The Bulldogs. That's all I'm gonna say. Bulldogs.
We'll leave it right there. Then we won't force the issue, but I see a certain type of smile, so I think you think this type of season. So you got something, as they say, under your sleeves. So
we have something going on here.
Feeling really special. We haven't even got into basketball, but it's a whole different subject right there. But with that being said, and congratulations on one of your former players on the women getting the WNBA contract. We want to acknowledge that.
Well, I want to say that is, our coach coached her at UAPB. But she, that was Zay. She's such a good ball player, but she's a good person. And I was excited not only for her, but just for the mention of this is an HBCU player. Right. And then you look at how many of HBCU players are actually in the WNBA, and I believe she's the only one. So we're excited. We're excited about that. Yeah, she had that last year's stint with that other school somewhere here, but it was what she did at the HBCU that mattered.
There you go. I appreciate you and helping me out with that correction there. With that being said, let's get into what we really want to talk about. Okay. Alabama A&M announces jersey patch partnership with Omni2Max.
Yes.
Talk about how that came together, and then I'll share the stage with the other gentleman who follow up with some questions.
So in January, when the NCAA actually approved it to go into effect August 1st, once we were at the National Convention, I started trying to just see what program would support Alabama A&M in becoming a partner with us. And I shot it. I was talking to one of our alumna, Miss Siobhan Kamek, and as we talked about it, and she said, I believe our company would like to be a part of that. And so as we talked, and then I end up, me and my team made a presentation to their CEO, and he loved it. His wife loved it. And, with the CEO, you got to get the wife. They're typically
it ain't just the CEO.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's everything.
Yeah, so we made sure it appealed to her as well. And Alan Maxwell,
Smart.
he signed on, and the rest is history. And we're not only are we forming that particular partnership, there's more to come about that. There's a lot more to come that I will be sharing later. But I'm excited about this partnership.
Well, let us know. We'll be the first to break it. We're not afraid. We know when appropriate. With that, let me go to Wilton. Go ahead and follow up with your question.
So one of my first questions for you, AD, is this. Obviously, Alabama A&M cares.
Can you, sir?
Go ahead. I can hear you, Wilton.
Can you hear me now?
No, we can't.
I go while Wilton works on his audio issue. You can hear me, Doc, correct?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go while Wilton works on his audio issue there. Dr. Bryan, I don't know if 2 Sundays ago, you caught the exchange Bryan and I had on our Sunday podcast, the BCSS Sports Lab, about your patch deal, and Dr. Cavil just kind of like said it was one of the classic, one of the best podcasts that we've done, and that was totally unscripted and organic. And the real subject of the debate that we had on that podcast was the valuation of that deal. Obviously we don't want to get into the contract negotiation part of it and everything, but as much as you can, take us behind the wheel. How do you, especially when you are the trailblazer on an idea like this, we still waiting on somebody, we still waiting on these the logos on the field to see how those are going to take off as far as the valuation on those. How does that come together? Because now Alabama A&M becomes the baseline for any other deal that gets done with this. So talk to us about that.
So we looked at the value, and let me be clear, the amount of money, and I say this, the amount of money that we receive for this patch, it pales in comparison to what's coming next. And so the patch itself, we said that was $250,000 to put on the football jerseys alone. That's just football. And we're going to be doing something else that is going to, again, make this deal look small compared to what's going to happen. And we're, as we talked about it, the biggest selling point for me this year for the patch was this game is about to be played on ABC on August 29th. That is national exposure. So then you look at the brand that you're going to see with us, and I'm going to tilt my screen a little bit. You see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that you're going to see that co-branding not only on national TV, but you will also see it when we play in the Gulf Coast Challenge, ESPN game. Mm-hmm. Then we play in the other, I say the largest classic, in the Magic City Classic. Now, you're going to see that co-branding, and that visibility for your company is something that you typically would not have. And so that's what really sold it. And then him being a partner already, they're part of our RISE program, which is research, part of our research department, and then seeing them be a part of the athletics. We're saying to you, it doesn't always have, it's an IT type company. You don't have to just be football. You can be something else. And we're sharing these messages with our team. They're providing some internships. We're doing a lot with this company that is going to propel not only the football team, but the athletics department.
I like that for the academy, the ability to navigate athletics and bring it into higher ed on the academic side, obviously serving as a dean of the college education over here at Texas Southern University.
Right.
I see that as extremely important about allowing the front porch athletics to really be a framework of how you navigate all through the university. Wilton, I'm going to come back to you and see if you can. If you can't, text me your question because I want to make sure you get it out. But let's try before we have to do that.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
I can also.
Can you hear?
I can't hear him.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. Yeah, because you hear everybody else. That's fine. We'll get it right. Text me the question, Wilton, because I want to make sure I get it out there and get you to do
Wilton,
that.
my brother, my bag. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's all good. It's all good.
That's what I mean, Bulldogs. That's what happened when you associated with Jackson State. They throw you off.
Oh, that's what Will's at. Oh no, I can't hear you for real.
Let's talk a little bit about that. When you have those presentations that you put together, talk a little bit about how much data you put in there, because a lot of people have that kind of question. If you take us behind the scene a little bit when you're working these deals, again, obviously one thing are the numbers, but more importantly, what type of metrics do you put in? And from that perspective, how do you go about knowing what metrics to put in, and does it change for different organizations?
Right. So we talked about brand awareness, right? So when I asked them for their data. I asked them about their website. Tell me what's your daily hits on. When people talk about Omni 2 Max, what do they talk about? And so I wanted to see how many people that they had following them, how many people that they had clicks on their website. And then I said, after this announcement, let's track that. But then I was tracking. It's easy to track this year because it has never happened. This is the first time that the NCAA said that we could do it. And so, saying that and saying, okay, here's an opportunity. You want to partner. You want to entrench yourself in Huntsville and the Huntsville community. We're the Rocket City's only Division I program, period. So if you want to be a part, this is a way to do it. And him seeing the patch on the jersey, that was I created a jersey. I put it. I put it. I got his patch made. Put it on him. Put it on the jersey. Put it on the mannequin. It was done. But it's kind of like when we sell our first downs. So I like to go out and sell the first downs and say, imagine hearing this when you're at the game. That's another Omni 2 Max first down. Every time I do that or say whatever company it is, they end up purchasing the first downs. Or this is a Dr. Kenyatta Cavil third down. Everybody get on your. They love that. And so when you do that sales and that marketing piece, it works. It works when you show them exactly what it takes. Like I said, the data this time is new. So we have no historical data other than looking at what the NBA, the WNBA, and all the professional teams do. And you pull up those jerseys and you see the Loves, you see Eli Lilly and that sort of thing on the jerseys. And I said, this is comparable to that.
Good stuff. I can see that, A&D. I can see that Dr. Mills inside the HBCU Sports Lab touchdown.
Hey, you know what? You might as well do it. Hey, it's so. You want it? You want it? It's done. It's done.
You got me thinking he's dragging it in my pocket, boy. I'm this close. I'm this close.
Hey, the wife go like that was a bill.
Where's your wife? Where's your wife?
You go get Wilton's question in because I'm kind of follow up to that.
Now. Yeah, VP. I'm glad that we typed this out. This is a really good question.
Okay.
Alabama A&M carries a historic name, visual identity. What standards did you establish to ensure a corporate logo would complement the university's brand without overpowering the traditional look and meaning of the Bulldogs uniform? Great question.
Exactly. Well, that's a great question. One of the things that I did was I looked at their mission. And again, remember, they're already doing business with us on the academic side. And I looked at their mission, and then we compared it to what we're trying to do, and they're doing it on the missile defense and IT and that sort of thing. And I said, this is where we're engineer school, and we have a lot of and you are looking to get our students. Your mission and our mission is the same. It's just we're attacking two different entities. I'm attacking sports. You're attacking defense, missile defense. And so it was funny because we had a joke. Since you're so big in that area, we should only put it on the defense.
Yeah.
And so, we start talking like that. But when you start talking like that, it began to talk their language too. And so and of course we were going to do it on all jerseys, but we did talk about that. So I looked at their mission versus our mission, and it just married. It's married, and it's what is innovation powered by excellence.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, we'll get you out of here on this, VP Bryant. Really appreciate your time and telling some insight. I think the listeners really enjoyed. They heard the news, and a lot of people were excited.
Yes.
The fact that and to get some little insight how it all came together, I think it's a powerful story. So again, keep doing the great work, and we appreciate your time. We'll find a way to get you on more as the season gets away, and tell us about the additional part of the partnership.
Yes. Well, I appreciate it. And I want to say that this is not just an Alabama A&M thing. This is an HBCU thing. We can do exactly what others do. We may not do it at the scale, but we have our own scale, and we can do it too. And people want to be involved. So don't hesitate in asking. And because I don't, I'll ask.
I like it. That's perfect.
Let's see you in 16 days, Doc.
Okay.
Say what?
See you in a few days.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
I'll see you in 16 days in Atlanta.
I'll be there as well. The team will be there. With that, we'll be right back after this next break.
Go Bulldogs.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Do you own a business, have a service or product, apparel, entertainment, or food? Would you like to reach an educated client base that are loyal? Then the Urban Passport Business Directory is for you. The Urban Passport is your premier digital discount and media portal with the Urban Digital Television Networks and V1085 radio properties embedded. Stay connected with the community with the latest news, entertainment, and HBCU sports and culture with the Black College Sports Network. Visit myjbn.com/passport to register your business and sign up for your free app before the August 24th release date. We are the premier digital national urban business directory, always free to the consumer. The Urban Passport, the evolution of the Green Book, and your digital passport to a world of savings. Tune in to the BCSN Pod Zone, the aggregate of some of the best HBCU sports shows on the net. Find them on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and everywhere you hear podcasts.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a state, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU
football fans, HBCU football is back in the ATL on August 29th with the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff presented by Toyota, representing the SWAC, Alabama A&M, and representing the MEAC, Howard, Bulldogs, Bison, the Marching Maroon and White, the Showtime Marching Band, the premier FCS matchup in primetime with a kickoff trophy up for grabs. Join us pre-game for fan jamborees, food, activations, and fellowship. For tickets and information, visit MEACSWACChallenge.com.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Honest with you, because I'm sitting in an office now that I once sat in as a quarterback with Coach Billy Joe, who I actually had the opportunity to sit with on yesterday because he's here in Birmingham. But to be in that chair and to be in that office, man, it's a blessing because it's one of those things. As a coach, when I got into the profession after I played a few years, it was something that was on my bucket list that I always wanted to do, and to have the opportunity to return to the alma mater and do that, it's a blessing that I won't take lightly, and make the best of it.
Game day, baby. First it was party in that box all day. Go find me.
Still one more time to work, baby. Let's go.
This is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab. That's the Rattlers. Let's get right into it because I know Wilton is making moves. So we want to make sure he gets his thoughts in this segment here. So let's bring up the football schedule.
Man, that schedule is rough.
Exactly. So let's get into this rough schedule. August 29th, you got Division II program at SIAC. Albany State coming off a great season. Coach will know a lot about them, though, but a lot of changes. Some of those players actually came over there, as we just learned, starting quarterback today. We talked about in the first segment. Actually joins the Rattlers, so he'll be on the opposite side. Then you got an old MEAC matchup, South Carolina State versus FAMU, now the SWAC. You go a big program, played for a national championship last year. The Miami Hurricanes, a little different than what they were. But this is a program FAMU got one time, so who knows? That being said, got another rivalry coming back together. This is an independent for those days, for those that used to be a part of the Atlanta Classic. This is back at it. This time it's on home field with Tennessee State traveling to Tallahassee. The highest of 7 hills, they say, around there. Then the other 7 hill is the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. They'll be coming to Tallahassee to play the Rattlers. As they get into conference play. Come back October 10th. After a brief break there, you got Rattlers on the road. This is where some fun may begin. Alabama State is hosting the Rattlers, I should say. Then the next one, they back on the road. This time it's in Jackson State. Well, we know what this ball game meant the first couple of games coming into the expanded era of the SWAC with 12 teams. Can it get back to that? We shall see. October 24th, UAPB is at the Rattlers. And then you have that game that used to be known as the longest running inter-conference matchup. Now it's a conference game. It's all been the Rattlers. But now the Jaguars have a new coach. Can he change things? Really on the road, it'd be fascinating to see. And then you get back into another non-division game. If you get out of here with the Braves, you got to go. First trip for Tallahassee. For the Rattlers going to the reservation. So it should be interesting there. You got Mississippi Valley at Tallahassee. Valley has had the number of the Rattlers last couple of years, so I'll be interested to see how it goes. Yeah, exactly. Then you got the Florida Classic. Oh, the Wildcats got it done. Last second touchdown essentially last year. Grabbed the jaws of victory from the Rattlers, which really kind of sealed the fate in a lot of ways for many people. But then it certainly was done after the Valley, which means a great opportunity for a coach, as you saw him coming into this. It'll be fascinating to see what that looks like. Enough of me. Wilton, what do you have to say about this matchup?
So overarching, it's this schedule is like the best of both worlds in a way, and I say best of both worlds because I'm gonna get to another side of what I mean by that. You have a combination of a lot of different opponents, which I guess on one side is good if you're an HBCU football fan because you get a taste of D2, you get a taste of the independence with Tennessee State, and you also get a taste of a MEAC team in those early weeks that could potentially maybe go back and represent the MEAC again in South Carolina State. We don't know that, obviously, because games haven't been played. But that first week, I'm going to give with Quinn Gray being at FAMU, coming from Albany State, he's going to win against his former team. Now, when it comes to September 6th, I don't know. Like, I just don't. I don't know if he's gonna take care of business against Chennisberry. I just really don't know. Then you go from you talk about the HBCU national champion to a money game against Miami, essentially, and then you go into an independent with Reggie Barlow and Tennessee State, which we know Tennessee State. Well, we would like to think Tennessee State is not going to be the team they were last year because now he has more of his players in place and a system truly being built. So that'll be a game that I have my eye on. And, of course, with Sam Shade coming from D2, this will be a good battle of, like, two former D2 coaches going at it. I would say, I know we just got Paul Bryan off of this show, and he's probably still watching. I'm going to give an edge to FAMU. But I'll say this. The most critical part in this schedule, October 10th, when they face Alabama State, they got to go to Alabama State. You got to go to Jackson State. And then, so those 2 weeks, and then I hate to say it, but November 14th, I mean, you got to circle it because you ain't beat them. So it's just like, you got to call it how I see it. If Mike was on here, you say Valley, but you got to beat them. You got to.
I think you make some excellent points there and did it in a very charismatic way. I don't think I've seen that side of Wilton in a while, if at all. AD, your thoughts?
This is a very interesting schedule. I'm looking at this, and this is the first time I really looked at this like this. The schedule, you would think I would have looked at the FAMU schedule in deep, but there are 5, 6 times that Quinn Gray will face another former NFL player on this schedule.
Fascinating.
I mean, I'm just not looking at that. I mean, you got 3 consecutive weeks with Tennessee State, Reggie Barlow, Alabama A&M, Sam Shade. A lot of people don't realize Sam Shade did play in the league for a number of years. And then Eddie Robinson Jr. Then you got Marshall Falk a couple of weeks later. Then you got Terrell Buckley a couple of weeks later. So it's like,
wow, that's crazy.
I mean, if that's the weird stat of the day, just put it out there.
I don't know what else is. I think you got it. That's good.
And of course, I'm probably the only one whose mind we even go to that. Now, I do agree with Wilton. The interesting thing about the August 29th game, that's the game that probably got Quinn Gray the job last year. Right. The way his Albany State Golden Rams were able to compete against Florida A&M and give them a run for their money. Just so everybody knows, that September 6th game in Miami, the Orange Blossom Classic, the Rattlers would not travel back to Tallahassee to come back down and play the U on September 10th. They will stay in Miami for those 4 days and everything right there. Obviously, you know how I feel about the September 19th game against Tennessee State. That's the game. That's the game that put me at Florida A&M when I was mentally committed to Tennessee State before that game. Before that, I think I've told that story. Favorable home schedule. FAMU had won 40-some odd games in a row at home before that team that you talk about on November 14th broke that streak 2 years ago. But if you look at the opponents coming in based upon last year's record, that's a very favorable home schedule. On paper, FAMU should be undefeated at home on paper. But we know paper don't play the games. And also, I like the travel. You've got 2 games. You got 2 games at the start of the season in the state. You've got a game out of state at in Montgomery against Alabama State, which is geographically the next closest opponent to the Florida A&M Rattlers. Yes, Montgomery, Alabama is closer to Tallahassee than Daytona Beach, Florida. For those who do not know that geography, and then you got 2 trips to Mississippi later on in the schedule, and of course you got the neutral site game in Orlando with the Florida Classic. So very favorable schedule. So if FAMU can get on a run, they won't have that jet lag, those travel, those weary legs and everything. They probably will fly to Miami, but they really don't have a schedule where they have to get on a plane. That's always a good thing whenever you take a look at it. So the biggest question with Florida A&M, can Florida A&M become the paper champions for this year?
That's the question.
What I mean by paper champions, because we know they cannot compete for the SWAC championship, which means they cannot compete for the Celebration Bowl. So can FAMU put themselves in position to become the paper champions this year? The schedule says yes. Will the play go along with the schedule?
Good stuff. 2 opposing frameworks. I love it. We're going to take next break. Wilton will move on, but we appreciate him staying around this long. We'll be right back, and we'll talk about the 5 and number 6 predicted order finish schedules. We'll be right back after this next break.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSM Sports Lab. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSM Sports Lab, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
Introducing the HBCU Trivia Game. It's more than a board game. It's a journey to the legacy of historically black colleges and universities. Here's how it works. 2 to 4 players, ages 13 and up, start as freshmen and roll the dice to advance. But here's the twist. You can only move forward by answering trivia questions about HBCU. Test your knowledge of notable alumni, key historical events, sports milestones, and fun HBCU facts. Watch out for spaces that can propel you ahead or set you back. And if you get a question wrong, you stay put until your next turn. The first to reach graduation wins! The HBCU Trivia Game. Support, educate, entertain! Available now. Let the journey begin.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
The champs are here. 2 teams, 2 legacies, 2 championship-winning coaches on one stage. The 2026 Orange Blossom Classic. South Carolina State Bulldogs versus the FAMU Rattlers. September 6th, Labor Day weekend, Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. You don't just want to watch it, you want to feel it. The sound of the bands, the energy in the stands, and the pride on every play. Get your tickets now at orangeblossomclassic.com. Built on history, fueled by pride.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want a loss, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Both sides compete in this format today. What stood out to you the most about this team's identity as you come out of spring?
Well, you know, just the competitiveness, the intensity, and I thought we had some urgency because it was back and forth. We started out, defense started off really strong, you know, then offense got it going, and then defense came back, and it was back and forth. You know, so that just tells you, you know, when one group got up, the other group didn't get too down. They kept fighting, they kept focusing, and so that's always good when you can have that type of intensity and urgency in your offense and your defense.
You put offense in a lot of situational drives, backed up near midfield and in the red zone. How do you feel they handled all those different scenarios today?
Well, you know what? I feel like they handled them well. Obviously, offense started out, and you know they really didn't move it when they were backed up early, but they moved it once they got it going. They had sudden change at the plus 45, and then they had it at the plus 18 going in, and they did good jobs when they were in those situations.
Coach, I want to talk about this defense. Even though they started out with an advantage, they were able to create some stops, takeaways. How would you evaluate their consistency and their overall performance in this game?
Well, I thought defensively, I thought we, for the most part, we played pretty good. You know, we gave up a touchdown in the red zone where we had a guy totally uncovered, and you know, those are the type of things that, you know, we can't have. Like, we can't give up easy points. Like, we've got to contest every point that the opponent makes on us. So, you know, that's something that, you know, we gotta watch the film and figure out what happened there and correct that. But for the most part, they play well.
All right, Coach, look in the camera and give a message to Bulldog Nation.
All right, Bulldog Nation, we've got spring ball is over with. Hey, right now I want to see everybody out in Atlanta for the MEAC SWAC Challenge. August 29th, 7:30 Eastern Time at Georgia State Stadium over in Atlanta.
Big time, big time. I like these little intro touches to the schedule, getting it done. With that being said, let's get to those Bulldogs, Alabama A&M schedule. As we're doing that, you all know by now, unless you've been asleep somewhere where they just don't talk about HBCUs. That is the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge presented by Toyota. August 29th, they're in Atlanta. What starts in Atlanta, ends in Atlanta. And now we've added additional Atlanta festivities for games all year long. It's hard to imagine how much fun they're going to have in Atlanta this year when you talk about HBCU sports, starting with football, the bands, and everything around it, as I call it, the sporting HBCU diaspora, HBCU sports culture as well. Fascinating. Then we come back to the state of Alabama, team down there in Birmingham. Miles, really Fairfield for folks that know. You got Miles, Golden Bears, coming up north to take on Alabama A&M. We talked a little bit about this. Tennessee State is back in the SWAC. This time it's against the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. They went up there last year. A&M was able to get that done. It'll be fascinating. Can they continue that trend? One of the solid wins that Alabama A&M had last year. September 19th. You don't see this much. CIAA Division II program coming down south to play Alabama A&M Bulldogs. I'm just intriguing with the two Bulldogs playing each other, what this looks like. With that being said, anything's long September, a lot of games there. Do start off with that August game, obviously. This one, Alabama A&M FAMU. I think this is the first test for these two programs. This will be a big opportunity. One of these programs are going to really feel good about themselves after this game on September 26th. Then we have another one. Alabama A&M hasn't had the kind of success of Jackson State since the expansion to the 12 teams. Jackson State is going to Alabama A&M, or I should say at least Alabama. This game will actually be in Mobile, so fascinating from that perspective. October 10th, Bethune-Cookman travels to actually Huntsville, the Hill, against Alabama A&M, and then they get another game, back-to-back weekends, with Grambling coming up to Alabama A&M. Saw some videos of championship game between Alabama A&M and Grambling. Took me back a little bit about that time when the SWAC championship game was played in Birmingham. Got a week off before the big one, the Magic City Classic. Alabama State and Alabama A&M. Alabama State has had the numbers of late, and the Bulldogs bounce back there as well. November 27th, Alabama A&M travels to Prairie View. Prairie View came to Alabama, and really this is where things changed for Prairie View offensively, where they just put up all kinds of points and close out the season that way. Had a lot of folks at Prairie View feeling good, so I wanted Alabama A&M is going to want to have a little good back on that one. And then November 14th, Texas Southern travels to Alabama A&M. I can't get out of my head when Texas Southern went out there with now Body, the quarterback of Alabama State, so long ago, but so short ago, when Texas Southern was going into that game, wanting to win it to close out the season solidly. Prairie View played earlier that day. Prairie View, if they won against Valley, they win the West. They lost. Opened up the door for Texas Southern University. They were leading, dominating the game by 21. A late injury by Body that started all that injury mess. And you had the crazy comeback by the Bulldogs that actually sent Texas Southern home. And with a win in the Bayou Classic by Southern, they would go to the championship game. Well, Southern did not let that opportunity get away from them, so they win, and they went to Jackson. With that being said, you got November 21st to close things out, Alabama A&M at Mississippi Valley State for that matchup. Then we go to you, Drew. Broke down the schedule. What are your thoughts about this schedule for Alabama A&M? Do you like it in terms of the home games? Do you see it as a tough schedule or a doable schedule?
I think it's a doable schedule. You know, you went back and mentioned that game from Andrew Body's freshman year.
Right.
And I was thinking about it. It just triggered some things. When did Alabama State make the comeback in that game? Because Texas Southern was dominating that game when Andrew Body got hurt in the game. That's when Alabama A&M came back in that game. And if I remember correctly, that was when we had true mediocrity in the West, where if the scenarios would have played out, we could have had a 4-4 representative out of the West that year. I remember that, but Southern squeaked it out at 5-3 as the representative. How far have we come since then, Dr. Cavil, though, where what we were looking like when we have a 500 team in the SWAC championship game? Get back to this, though. Alabama A&M. Realistic chance of opening the season 4-0.
I agree.
Which means that their first test will be the battle of the 1890 schools,
Right.
You know, when two A&Ms get together. So, you know, that could potentially be that first one. Now, those first four, even if they go 4-0, don't mean that if you start off the conference season 0-1. So, you know, we'll know at that point after September whether we're talking about a potential contender or whether everything was just a window dressing for the start of the season. The October 3rd game in Mobile, when Jackson State, Alabama A&M always get together, always fascinates me because here we go with the geography lesson, everybody. Jackson, Mississippi is geographically closer to Mobile, Alabama than Huntsville, Alabama.
True.
So that is all because Huntsville, Alabama is a little bit over 6 hours, six and a half away, where Jackson is about 4 hours from Mobile. So it's always interesting when they come back. And I take the ride to both from Mobile. So trust me when I say they ride to Huntsville as long as you know what. It really is. Love Bethune coming in, love Grambling coming in, which brings up Magic City Classic, Dr. Cavil.
Yes.
Well, so thus far, the Magic City Classic, it has not been magic for the Bulldogs. They have not been able to pull the rabbit out the hat because Coach Eddie Robinson just does not lose in Birmingham, everybody. So can Sam Shade break that hold that Eddie Robinson has on the city of Birmingham? The November 7th game at Prairie View, coming off of the Magic City Classic, will there be a mental letdown of that game, win or lose, Dr. Cavil, in that Magic City Classic? That's tough. We go for Birmingham, and now I gotta get on the plane and go to Prairie View. That's you can't call it a trap game because Prairie View is going to be competitive, but it could be a gotcha game if I'm making sense to everybody. End of the season, Texas Southern, Alabama A&M. If both these teams surprise everybody because they're both picked in the lower half of their divisions and are in the hunt, that game realistically could wind up being a preview of the SWAC championship game. I'm not calling it, everybody, but I'm just kind of going through the different scenarios that you have here. And of course, end of the season against Valley. Alabama A&M with a 6-1 record going into that game, or a 5-2 record going into that game. Does Valley become the trap game on the schedule, everybody? But overall, I like the schedule. Watch out for the November 7th game against Prairie View, and that's just a challenge. Anytime that they have to get on that plane to go down and play either one of those Texas schools and everything. Traveling to Tallahassee, that's always an interesting game. So Prairie View. And of course, Jackson State, I think, are the two games that you really have to watch out for on this particular schedule, Doc.
Good breakdown, really good analysis on those games in a lot of ways. I'm with you 100% in terms of how you see that schedule in between starting things off, how it gets going in the conference game, at Magic City Classic, and then to close things out the latter part of the season, flights included and all. With that being said, let's take our last break. And we'll come back and do some love for Mississippi Valley State.
No love for me. Not to the orange and green win.
Maybe I said that differently than how it sounded. And when I say love, we'll make sure we'll pay attention.
Oh, okay.
Mississippi Valley State.
I'm just playing.
But I get you. No, I understand. I feel that kind of way too. I told you. I put it out there. Yeah. I've had this feeling with Valley before, even though I told Mike, quit saying that. The last time we said that, we went down to Valley and we had a chance planning to go to a championship game. And I thought that was a team that could sneak around and do some things in the championship game. Things worked out. And Valley was like, not so fast, Dr. Cavil. It was a weird weekend because then my other team, Texas Southern, falls to the trap as well. I was like, man, let me get out of my family. Let me get back to just covering this. And that being said, we'll be right back after this last break.
Oh my God! This is your invitation to the moment. The Divine Nine, the bands, the parties, the performances, creating memories with your people. So pull up to the 2026 Orange Blossom Classic. It just hits different. Labor Day weekend, Miami Gardens, Florida. It's the culture, the connection, the pride. One weekend, one experience, one big community. Get your tickets now at orangeblossompclassic.com.
This is Ryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Lab. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Tune in to the BCSN Pod Zone, the aggregate of some of the best HBCU sports shows on the net. Find them on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and everywhere you hear podcasts.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Register your business for the premier urban business directory in the country, the Urban Passport. Visit myjbn.com/passport. The Urban Passport, the evolution of the Green Book.
Football fans, HBCU football is back in the ATL on August 29th with the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff presented by Toyota, representing the SWAC, Alabama A&M, and representing the MEAC, Howard, Bulldogs, Bison, the marching maroon and white, the Showtime Marching Band, the premier FCS matchup in primetime with a kickoff trophy up for grabs. Join us pre-game for fan jamborees, food, activations, and fellowship. For tickets and information, visit MEACSWACChallenge.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
To you being the head coach at Valley, we know sometimes the restraints when it comes to the resources up at Itabena, but what are you learning about the coaching side of things up at Valley with yourself?
Well, I've been coaching for 20 years now. This is the toughest challenge that I've ever had as a head coach assistant. Like you said, the whole culture, the whole thing has been bad for about 3 decades, and we've won at a clip of about 40-some%. So we have to change everything. And because of my experience, the other coaches, I feel like I was built for that, and I'm open to learning new things and not afraid of challenges and making adjustments. And with a mindset that I don't know everything, I think that's giving the staff the opportunity to, again, look ourselves in the mirror, see where we at, have answers, and let's go out and get those answers. So the challenge is allowing yourself to acknowledge where you're at, getting a great game plan, and then going out and executing it.
I officially protest that video, Dr. Cavil. Your whole season highlight video was your win over FAMU. I'm officially protesting for Bryan, for Kelvin, for Marcus, and the rest of the orange and green.
Something didn't seem right about that, but we will proceed in terms of doing the work of the show. With that being said, bring on Valley's schedule. With Valley's schedule, let's get into this. I think it'll be interesting to see from the perspective if we can get some wins and where they come from, and do you agree where they possibly could? August 27th, as they kick off things early, they go to Nichols on the road game, but it is a FCS matchup. Fascinating there. September 5th. This game was scheduled before the announcement came out. People was heard that Sacramento had an interest going FBS for a while, but this game was scheduled before the announcement that they had made the move to FBS in terms of going to the MEAC. And they got the latest news where if they can get bowl eligible, that they can participate right away in terms of the transition phase. With that being said, this becomes tougher than it was already tough. Long road trip, but great experience for the players. Will it help them shape things up? Then you have a D2 matchup here. I like this matchup move in terms of what that looks like. Valley, I don't think has enough of those oftentimes on their schedule, but they mixed that in. But then you got a tough one right after it. It is D2, but this is a D2 matchup that has not went Valley's way late. At one time, Delta State was one of the powerful schools in the Division II with the championship. Still have been strong enough to get it done against Valley. Closer matchups. Can they get over the hill? We shall see. September 26th, we get into conference play. Mississippi Valley at Alabama State. One to keep your eyes on the C. One, obviously, you want to get the win, but if not, you want to see how they play. Can they make it one where you say, well, maybe this is a little different Valley team. We'll get a chance to see what that looks like. But this is tough. They get Prairie View. So you got two of the teams that are predicted to win their division. So you'll see pretty early in terms of what that looks like. Valley travels to Houston, Texas Southern University, in terms of that matchup. Then you come back a week later. You're back at home. So it is going back and forth in terms of the schedule at this point. You have Bethune-Cookman come in the Valley. That's one you want to get if you had that opportunity. Obviously, Bethune-Cookman is picked pretty high this year compared to last. So we'll see what that looks like, but it is at home. Second home game. This one is a rival, if you would, in terms of at least the state of Mississippi. Alcorn State Braves come over to Valley. 2 home games in a row. Can you get something rolling? We'll see what AD thinks about that. But then you have 2 on the road. Valley at Jackson State, team that they have not had much success with, team that's going to be very hungry. But they do play close games, usually early, but then Jackson finds a way to pull away. Can Valley get Jackson State in a huge upset in most people's minds? Then the rematch. FAMU has lost, I should say, 2 in a row. Will things change under Quinn Gray? That's what everybody wants to know. November 21st, you have Alabama A&M, as we said, just looking at their schedule. They're on the road with Valley. So Valley gets to close it out at home in terms of their 12-game schedule for 2026. I can't wait to hear what AD says about the schedule, particularly do you see any wins coming from Valley this year? If so, where at?
I know where there better not be a win at. We're just gonna say that to start off with. Doc, I don't know if you see Edwin's comment that he put in. I have never thought of that analogy until he just put that in the comments there. G-Boom, if you put that last, it's funny. I don't like it, but it's funny.
That's right.
But getting with the schedule. Let's start with the September 5th game against Sacramento State. Will this game count for Sacramento State as far as bowl eligibility? Because we know Valley traditionally. Let me put it out there before you say yes, Dr. Cavil. Because Valley traditionally has not offered enough scholarships, so that FBS game will count for the FBS opponent towards bowl eligibility. I'm just curious on that one, everybody. Now you can say either yes or no on that one, Dr. Cavil.
I would say yes. I think that's a good point you're making in terms of that. But I think they've changed a little bit of that eligibility now because they even let some 5 and 7 teams go.
Yeah.
So you're right. At one time, that was a clear demarcation in terms of the FCS program had to have enough hours. The other thing is I think which will be interesting this year for Valley. They've increased their scholarship limit.
Okay, that's good.
So that's a quiet thing they've kind of done at Valley because people are used to them not having a scholarship. So they've done some more work in that. The league has worked with them to find ways to help increase that, not giving them resources to do it, but looking at how they go about the resources and done it. So it's my understanding that those scholarships have increased. So I'm intriguing because I don't think people really recognize that because it's been done quite quietly.
Yeah, because I mean, no pun intended, Dr. Cavil, but we definitely don't want to ever see a school get into the situation where your alma mater got while you were in school, going through one of those ever again.
That's right, no doubt.
Yeah. September 12th in Chicago. That's going to be an interesting game. And the reason I say that, a lot of people know I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. There are a lot of Valley people a lot of people from St. Louis who migrate to Valley for school. So I wondered if they will make the trip north to Chicago to support Valley in that group from St. Louis. And because what I'm afraid of with this September 12 game, though, and I'm just to be totally honest, Valley against Lincoln, PA at Soldier Field. I'm afraid we're gonna get one of those looks like a Tennessee State game. Sorry, Tennessee State, y'all know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the optics of a Tennessee State game at Nissan Stadium. I do not want to see that same type of look in Soldier Field. Moving on to
unfortunately,
moving on to the September 19th game against Delta State. That's a quiet rival there, Dr. Cavil, in the state of Mississippi. Those two schools are less than an hour apart. And a lot of people don't realize it, especially because Delta State will beat Valley more than they should. We'll just say it like that. Okay. Valley goes to Bama State. Okay. They talking 0-1. Preview at Valley could be a sneaky game. Anybody who let's do it like this, Dr. Cavil. Of the opponents who travel into Itabena this year in the SWAC, Preview, Bethune, Alcorn, and Alabama A&M. Of those four, and I'll just put you on the spot on this for Dr. Cavil. Valley's always good for getting somebody when they're not supposed to get them in Itabena. Who could that be? I'm gonna put it out there. I'm thinking the October 17 game, Bethune-Cookman could be the one that could be that magic one for Valley in Itabena. Just put you on the spot, Dr. Cavil. Which one do you think of those four conference games is the one that Valley could trip somebody up on?
I appreciate that question and being on the spot. I can handle it. I see where you're going with the Bethune-Cookman, but if you ask me, as you did, the one I'm going to go with is 2 weeks later, October 31st. Alcorn. That's the sneaky one. I think Alcorn is one of those teams that has a lot of expectations. So if things are rolling, maybe not. But if things start to ripple up a little bit, you're going to get a lot of frustrated folks, a lot of talk, and we know how that affects young folks. This is also a type of game. We know that they're early on in this game, they're going to play tough regardless how they come into the game with their records. And if you get a little momentum and confidence, it's one of those things to what you saw, what they did to Prairie View when I told you they lost, or what we saw last year, not 2 years ago. I think that was just totally different. But last year, right, where in a lot of ways FAMU had control of that game in terms of being able to get the W. And then when it turned
real fast.
Right? Before you knew it, before you could dig out of it, you was like, what the hell happened? And again, it doubled down because of what happened the previous year. But I think the losses in those were both losses. I think they were different. To me, this was more similar to what you saw when Prairie View went down there and had a lot on the line and lost the game in terms of that. So that's the sneaky one. To answer your question, October 31st is the one I would say keep your eyes on.
Yeah. My last comment before I let you go ahead and close out everything you want to say is November 14th, I am going to call Andrew Roberts on November 14th and ask him what are the viewership numbers on this particular game.
Great point.
Because I think, especially if this game winds up being close at halftime, and when I say close, within a touchdown at the half, that game is going to draw some numbers on the tube, because everybody's going to be like, can they do it for the third consecutive year? You know, the storyline in that game on 11-14 is going to be astronomical, especially if Valley is able to come into that game with a couple of W's already up under their belt, and some of those W's being conference. That might up sneakily being one of the highest rated games on SWAC TV if things play out.
I think you're excellent. It'll be depending on what they're up against. Obviously, schedule times can kind of change and things of that nature. But I think even coming into the game, you're going to have some early viewers. And to your point, if it's close, then those folks are going to be talking. Social media will get the buzzing. People will get the texting. And you're right, more viewers will come in if the unthinkable is looking like it may happen. So great point in terms of why you want to keep your eyes on that game, at least at the beginning and late if things work out that way. Thank you for listening to Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. I had AD doing his time spot as we already did. We make him an unofficial member of the show. It costs too much money to change the name of the show, so we're just going to add it in there. But you do get the outfits now. You get your shirt. So we want to make sure we appreciate you and thank you for all that you do. A lot of the work with the show and beyond that for HBCU Sports. I'm
gonna have to give you a better age, and I got to get more than an apparel deal out of this show next time. Next time we negotiate my contract, man.
No doubt. We will look at that in the off season. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. We do want to thanks for closing out the week. We will see you next week. But before we do that, I also want to give a shout out to Wilton Jackson II for giving some time of the day today to give us some insights of what he sees. We look forward to next week as we discuss the latest news in the lab. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil. That's DrKenyattaCavil. That's Fred's Facebook and Instagram. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Facebook. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube. Shout out to my family members that played in the NFL. That's my brother, Kwame Cavil, and Big Ben Cavil. Yes, Cavil, we tease in terms of how we pronounce the name, but family members, that's the Sadiddy side. I want to give them shouts out and safe travels as they are in round walk outside of Austin, meeting up and taking care of some businesses. They got family going down there. It's a funny nature when them NFL retired players get together. And I don't know why they feel the need to call me, include me, but it was funny listening to them because they go off. With that being said, dream big. And the odd thing is, I will put this in there. Usually, I don't talk about it, but one went to Texas, the other went to OU. So it's
oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. Dream big. Continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. AD?
Of course.
Lecture.
Dismiss.